I understand that, I know issue 2 is coming up for the November 7th ballot, and the county commissioners felt so adamant against it, you actually created a resolution, and that's what I want to talk to you about today.
Okay.
What's your stance on issue 2, and why was it so important to create a resolution?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to first encourage everybody that wants to vote yes for issue 2 to read the whole issue 2 format. This is a very small print. You see the back and front of all these pages. That is issue 2. It's a very complicated issue. Issue 2 should be done by legislators, not by the general public. It is going to create chaos, I do believe, in the state of Ohio. The chaos I think it's going to create is for law enforcement, for one thing. I'm sure all your interviews have kind of went that direction. But with all the context in here, they cannot any longer, if this passes, they cannot any longer, if they smell marijuana inside a vehicle, all they can do is get them for the traffic violation. They cannot inspect the vehicle. And many times, law enforcement, they get guns, they get drugs. Fentanyl is the worst one, obviously. They would no longer be able to do that. So the criminals out doing that and allow them to smoke marijuana. So that's how a lot of these criminals are caught, with just the smell of marijuana in their vehicles. That will no longer be available to them. It would be against the law for them to do that based on the smell of marijuana. Same way with children from JFS. It just takes a lot of protection of people in the community away from law enforcement, which I think that alone is horrible. Not counting the addiction that marijuana goes to. You know, it is a gateway drug. The sad part is there'd be many more accidents. It's already proven out in Colorado. Their accidents are way up because people are smoking high trying to drive, and there's no way to test them unless they have a violation. I mean, it's not good for anybody. It's going to be more expensive. Not only that, the way the tax is on here, it specifically says how the tax has to be used in here. It's not up to legislation of how to do that, which normally that's how you would do. You would maybe distribute that to law enforcement, maybe to rehab. It's giving you 38% of the new taxes will go to try to allow criminals, convicted criminals, to be licensed to sell marijuana, which I think is totally wrong. 38% of total tax rates will be to help people become licensed to sell marijuana for convicted convicts. That just those two issues alone makes it no sense. No sense forever. I mean, if they wanted to do it, they could have probably done it way different and made it more palatable to the general public. But this is just a chaotic bill or legislative. It should be done legislative, not by somebody writing it up and say, okay, Ohioans, we need to do it this way. That's just not representation of how to really do this thing right. Because I will guarantee you, if you're voting yes for it, you got no idea what's in here. You think it's a simple vote yes, vote no. It's not a simple vote no. You need to be educated on it. Obviously, I'm very passionate about it because I read about half of it, and I got bored to death of all the little stuff that people don't understand what it does and doesn't do. I didn't understand half of it. It did this and does that, the law enforcement, the taxes, you know, who can grow it, who can't grow it. You know, that's not up to somebody just to throw on a ballot. That should be done by the people in Columbus to do that, not this.
So me asking you how you're going to vote on this is probably,
yeah, I obviously I'm voting no, and I encourage everybody to vote no. But if you think it's a good idea, just please be educated. It's not just about marijuana use. It is so more complicated than that. And that's the sad part about all the marketing and advertising, is that they say, oh, it's just about being able to smoke marijuana. That's all it's about. It is not what it's all about. That's a very small part of this, what I think should be a bill through the House and Senate, as opposed to on this state issue 2. I think it's just totally wrong, and I think it's a mistake. And I also would say the biggest investors in this, there's not one of them from the state of Ohio. Right. So big corporations, throwing millions and millions because it's a moneymaker for them. And I will tell you, I've already heard that we have gotten in our school systems in this county, marijuana, whether it's gummies or marijuana or whatever, packaged and sold in Michigan in our schools in Ashland, Ohio.
Right.
You know, and so that's the kind of nonsense that's going to happen. It's even going to be worse, you know, than it is now. And it's just a terrible idea. Just a terrible idea.
All right. Well, thank you, Denny. I really appreciate you taking time to talk to me.
Thank you very much. And vote no issue 1 also. That's not a very good deal either.
Thank you.
You're welcome.